because it wasn't my normal Zoom, it wasn't recording. So I gotta make sure that's going. I love that you guys that are not able to make the Zooms live are getting to watch it on the record. So I'm happy to see you guys are watching it. I'm gonna keep letting people in. So this is actually the regular weekly meeting time, Wednesday at 7:15 p.m. So everybody's going to be on here tonight. It's a refresher for those that are already started in the tribe, and then for the newbies, the new baddies. So I'm just going to keep letting everybody in. I'm guessing people are starting to see it. Oops. Good. People are coming on. I wish when I see like iPad, I would actually know who it is. All right, we're going to give it one more minute, and then I promise we're starting. So I'm going to start with a couple of, I'm going to talk about a lot of different things today, so I'll probably be all over the place. I'm just going to wait for everybody to pop on there. Okay. Lots of stuff. I have tips, I have tricks, I have the way you're going to use your cheat sheets, all that fun stuff. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. Hello, hello. I am super excited to have you guys all on here. Stacy, we match. I have a couple. Stacy's my sister, by the way, for all the new people. She's lost over, she's almost close to 100 pounds, I think. Like, amazing. There we go. Okay. So she's doing amazing. I love that she's wearing the shirt. My glasses are super, super dirty. I don't know why, but I feel like they are. Otherwise, I'm just getting blinder as we talk. So I love that you guys that are new have been practicing your tracking, noticing that you're not seeing stuff in the app, and we had to go in and make sure the toggle is switched. So the first thing I want to say is, if you are new and you are not seeing your food when you click on the graph, we talked about this the other day. I'm going to pull up Stacy since she's on here. So when you guys are looking at, and everybody's going to look at their phones that are new right now, just to make sure. When you're looking at this, and if you notice, she is perfect. When you click on that, you're going to see food. All the food that you logged in. If you don't see that, you're going to have to go to the bottom right of your app, click the three dots, find where it says MyFitnessPal or Fitbit, and make sure the toggle is green and switch it over if it's not. That is the same place you will go if it doesn't automatically sync. You can manually sync it at any time. Okay, so that's super important to remember to know. This way everybody can see their food, because if you ask me to look at your numbers and I go to look and I can't see what you're eating, then I can't help you. So it's really, really, really important. Also, if you're using MyFitnessPal, you don't have to close out of my app and go back into MyFitnessPal and go back into my app and go back into MyFitnessPal. There is a toggle when you are click on that again and go back to your food. There should be at the top right corner a thing that says MyFitnessPal. You should be able to click on it and go right into MyFitnessPal. So then you have to keep going back and forth. Also, with MyFitnessPal, Your numbers will not match unless you have premium. They don't need to match. I've been doing this for 5 years with both these apps. They don't need to match. We don't use MyFitnessPal for numbers. We only use it as a tool to enter our food. The numbers we use are what I just showed you on my app. Now, if you have premium, they will match because that's one of the benefits of premium, but it is not necessary. Fitbit, it's automatic. It does match always. And of course, if you're tracking in app, meaning you're not using MyFitnessPal, you're not using Fitbit, you're using my app, you will see exactly what you need to see. Another benefit of using in-app tracking is recipes. It gives you food ideas. It gives you recipes. It gives you options. And so much to the point where it will say easy recipe, not so easy recipe, more challenging recipe. It'll give you dairy-free recipes only if you use in-app tracking. Doesn't cost more money. It's just a little bit of a learning curve. And if you want to use in-app tracking, I have to switch you over and you need to go into the in-app tracking app so you can learn how to do that. Okay, that being said, everybody should be watching the other videos because I'm not going to talk about how to use the app again since everybody now knows how to use the app. I added you guys to a bunch of groups. Tonight, I'm going to be adding you to even more groups. You'll be added into a recipe group. You'll be added into a protein group, a carb group, where they would give you options. You're going to be added into the alcohol group. If there is a group that you don't need, the alcohol group, you don't drink, you don't use fat, you don't go to fast food, you don't eat sushi. If I add you to the sushi group, there's a try meetup group. If you don't live here and you're never going to be able to meet up with us, then you don't need to be in that group. We haven't done any meetups this year again yet because we did a couple and they were great, and then we got really busy during the holidays. So I would like to start doing that again. I'm actually going to use my boot camps as kind of a meetup also. And thank you to those in the Shred Tribe that came to the boot camps last Sunday and Monday. I really appreciate the support. Okay, so first thing is I want to read this. If your goal is to reduce your body weight by 5% or more, or you've lost a lot of weight and want to keep it off, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services says that a minimum of 300 minutes of moderate to intense activity weekly may be needed. That's a lot of minutes. That's 5 hours a week of exercise. So if you have to lose 5% of your weight, which the majority of us do, then you really need, I even want to lose 5% of what I weigh. I would like to lose 7 pounds. You need to make sure you're getting your steps in. You need to make sure you're getting some activity in. Of course, if you've messaged me and said, I can't do any of that, and I've already done your macros at sedentary, that's a different story. But if you are able to do it, try to get in that exercise. Now, I don't want you to be a cardio bunny. Nobody's going to be on that treadmill for 300 minutes. You will get soft, you will lose muscle, and you will gain fat. And you don't want to do that. Everyone in here is over 30 pretty much. Not everybody, but majority of the people are over 30. I would say there's probably 10% that are not. We need to be lifting for more than reasons of just weight loss and body fat loss. Osteoporosis is the #1 reason, especially with females that are close to perimenopause, menopause, post-menopause. So you guys should all be some kind of strength training. If you're not, you need to speak with me. As of Monday, you guys are all going to have the workouts in your app. So there'll be no excuse because there's body weight exercises, there's home exercises, there's home workouts, there's everything can be done. If you purchase my resistance bands, you can do resistance band workouts from home as well. So those are amazing options. Okay. Now we're going to talk about macros. So the first thing I want you to do is I am going to read, and I told you I would, tips to help you with your macro. I know it's a shortcut, but sometimes when you read it, it helps. And of course, I talk about it. Plan ahead. Failure to prepare is preparing to fail. If you start your day and you're like, oh, I'm going to just log it all at the end of the day and see how it goes. That's like throwing up your cards and hoping they land all in one deck, all in one package. It's never going to work. So if that is your plan, let me refund you. Because it's not going to work and you're going to say my program doesn't work. And I'd rather you not be in my program than say my program doesn't work, because it works. I know it works. I've been doing this for a long time. I promise it works. I did it on myself. I used my sister. I wouldn't do it to my family, right? I'm just kidding. She just got in the game. But so if you eat something and then track it, it's not going to work. Even if it's an apple and then you track it after, it's not going to work. Because how do you know you still have that left in your budget? Of course, if it's the first thing in the morning you're eating, you can track it right after you eat it. But if you're progressing through the day and you're like, oh, I'm going to stop at 7-Eleven and get a cheese stick because I'm hungry, but I'm going to track it after I eat it, you might go over your fats. But you might be able to have half of it versus the whole thing. Or if you miss, or let's say you packed your food for lunch and you packed 2 grilled chicken breasts, but you forgot that you ate 4 egg whites and you've already tracked that. But if you don't track those 2 grilled chicken breasts, and now you're going to have dinner, you might not be able to have that much protein at dinner. So you have to really focus on logging beforehand. Your homework the other day was think of your staples, start to log them, and see how your day looks with those staples in it, right? The other thing is when you're tracking is if you put in 2 hard-boiled eggs and then you're like, oh shit, I'm not even near my macros yet, you might need to add more. But how do you know that if you're not tracking? If you're not logging what you're supposed to be eating? I'd say this 100 million times. I log every single day. I know what things are. I can rattle it off to you. If you message me and say, how many carbs are in this? How many fats are in this? How many proteins are? I can tell you. Because I've been doing this for so long. But I would never wager that on my goals. I log everything. And there's in the sample meal plan group, you could see my food. Like I've taken screenshots of my logs and put it right in there. If I know that I have something planned for the day, I will not eat some of my staples. When I stopped drinking on September 12th because it didn't serve my goals. It didn't serve what I wanted to do before I hit 50 in August. I'll go back to drinking. I just want to make this a year of no drinking so that I can hit my body fat goal. But before I stopped drinking, I knew on Saturday nights I was going to have a Tito's with soda, and I knew I was going to have a glass of Kim Crawford. When I woke up in the morning, that went in my app. Because I wanted to make sure that anything I ate throughout the day would not sacrifice those 2 things. When we go out on Friday night, we go out almost we eat out every night on the weekend. So when we go out, I'll always say to Mike, where are we going to go Friday night? Let's make our reservation. Let's decide. So I can log my food in the morning. So when I'm going through the day and then we're at dinner, I'm like, oh, you know what? I already logged a piece of that biscuit. Or I know that I want some of that artichoke dip, but I already logged it, so I can have it. Or if I know I'm going to a birthday party and I want a piece of the cake, I will log it. I will save some of my macros for that. I haven't had pizza in a very long time. And every Sunday I joke around. I don't joke around. I say, Mike, tonight's the night I'm going to have a slice of pizza. I put it in my log. By the time it's ready, by the time we say we're going to order pizza, Mike does every Sunday, by the way. He'll say, what do you want? I'll say chicken breast with broccoli. And he'll say, but you said you were going to have pizza. You saved for pizza. I'm like, I would rather go get Menchie's frozen yogurt than eat that slice of pizza. And maybe put a little bit of peanut butter, the liquid peanut butter on it, because I already saved for it. But I could have had the pizza if I had saved for it. So what's the number 1 rule? Plan ahead. Right? You guys got that? Thumbs up, everyone. Thumbs up. All right. I know, Jeff, your thumb is up. Jen, Sarah, all you that I can't see. Kim, I know your thumb is up. Okay. Bulk your main meals. We talked about this. There's no more such thing as 3 to 4 ounces of protein. 6 to 8 ounces at every meal. I am going to take a pause, and I want to ask a question to those that have already been in the Shred Tribe. When you started doing this program and you were in week 1 through 3, did you say, holy shit, there's no way I'm going to eat all this food? Raise your hand. They're obviously are the ones that have been in the program. Okay, now put your hands down. Raise your hand if you said, I feel so freaking full and bloated. I don't know if I could do this. Okay, now raise your hand if the food is like nothing and you're eating it and you feel great and you're losing weight. Okay, so I've gotten tons of messages this past week, which is why we do this ahead of time, saying, is anybody else complaining that it's too much food? Is anybody else saying that they're never going to be able to get their proteins in? And I say, yep, 177 of you every damn day. But it gets easier. I promise. You'll start to learn how to do the numbers. I had somebody say to me today, I finally figured it out and I moved the numbers around. I'm like, yes, you played macros Tetris, right? That's the whole name of the game, no pun intended, but that's how it works. You're going to figure out those little pieces and puzzles. And what you're going to use is a cheat sheet that look like this in the cheat sheet group. They're not black and white. I just printed it. They're colored. They're red, green, orange, yellow, blue. Go in your cheat sheet group real quick. Everybody grab your phones. If you're in your cheat sheet group, it's also in the ebook, but the ebook is all pink, which I'm working on fixing. But if you're in the cheat sheet group and you scroll up past all the cheat sheets, past the lists, keep going, you're going to come across this. Okay. If you message me and you say, I don't know what to eat, I need carbs and fats, I'm going to say, did you look at the cheat sheet that says carbs and fats? Or I need a little bit more protein. Did you look to see what it says when you need a little bit more protein? This is going to be your Bible for at least the beginning to try to hit those numbers to play macros Tetris. If you scroll down in that same group, there's another one of those in case you don't like what's in the first one or don't like how that graph looks. If you scroll down a little bit more and you want ideas for fruit, how much you can have, or roots and squash, or staples, this is the cheat sheet to use. I have them here for you guys because they're going to be your best friend. If you scroll down a little bit more, let's say you need protein, but you have to be really lean because you don't have any fats left. Boom, this cheat sheet. You got your lean proteins, your not so lean proteins, and your fatty proteins. This is like having Shannon at your fingertips. And more than not of the time, I will look it up. Because I don't know everything. I mean, I know a lot, but I don't know everything. Now, if you like pictures, this is the same one that's not in the list. But it's pictures of lean protein, not so lean, fatty protein. Use this app. We're talking right now about the challenge tips. It's in the cheat sheet group. It's also a shortcut for you guys. And then if you keep scrolling down, you'll see more lean protein sources, fatty protein sources. You'll see more. I put a list of my personal staples. If you see it there, yogurts, cottage cheese, Quest chips, tuna pouches, chicken lunches, deli meat, cheese sticks, rice cakes, sugar-free Jell-O, Yasso bars. It's all here. People ask me what I eat. This is it. Scroll down. It's on April 25th, 2022. That list never changes. For people that have been in the Shred Tribe, they're like, oh my God, she really does eat this every day still. If you scroll down, you're going to see high fiber foods. If you start feeling bloated and you're constipated, use the fiber list. That means you need more fiber. All right. So cheat sheets are going to be your best friend. And that's going to help you hit your macros for your 6 to 8 ounces of protein at every main meal. I'm going to tell you a story. And I told you guys I want to tell you a story. And I'm sorry that you guys that are in here have to hear it again. But when I started tracking macros, I felt like you guys. And I eat constantly. I can continually eat out of a big green bowl. And my big green bowl has my full bag of family-sized broccoli and 8 ounces of protein and usually a sweet potato mushed in it. And then I use some hot sauce or mustard, and I mix it all together and I eat it. Because that's how I realize how I need to eat my food to get the bulk of it in. I eat a lot more than you guys too. So if you're eating, 160 proteins, I'm probably eating like 240 proteins. So I have figured out a way to get all mine in. So the first time I started doing this, I was crying at the kitchen table. And at the time I was married, and my husband was like, why are you doing this? Why are you crying eating over your food? I'm like, because I have to eat it. I was told by my macros coach at the time, I had one, that I have to eat it all. And so I went in the group that I was in, and they're like, get up, walk away, do laundry, come back and eat it. Get up, do dishes, come back and eat it. And that's how I started getting in all the food, not in one sitting for that one meal, but I got it all down. I might have choked some of it down, but after a while, now I wish at that end of that meal, I'm like scraping the bowl. I want more food. The first time I ate dinner over at Mike's house, almost 7 years ago, I brought my bowl, and his daughters were here, and they were like, what the hell is she doing? Because I don't eat pasta. I don't. And it's the gluten. It just it doesn't sit right with me. My nose gets all stuffy, and I don't want to use the carbs for that. I would rather do something else for my carbs. And I had my big bowl. And then one day I came back and I was like, I'm going to cook dinner. And they're like, if you're going to cook what's in that green bowl, we don't want it. And that's like the running joke, because I always have my green bowl. Like it's there. I eat in it almost every night. Something, a lunch or a dinner. So you make it happen. Okay. Always have healthy food in your fridge and pantry. And somebody said, my downfall is peanut butter. Get it out of your freaking house. If you can't stay away, you don't have willpower, you don't need to have it in your house. And we make excuses. Oh, my kids need it. Oh, my husband wants it. I do the same shit. Oh, Alexa's coming over. We're going to bake cookies. Mike's like, Alexa doesn't need cookies. But in my mind, I'm like, but if we make them, I could have them. But she doesn't need it. But we do that. How many of you do that? I know I'm not alone. Thank you, Lori, for making me feel better. All right. So if it doesn't work for you and you cannot stay away from it, either get it out of your house, or you have a principal that used to be in the program who is now a coach for nutrition. She used to lock her snacks up in a plastic bin and give her oldest child the key. And they would help her put lunches together. They would unlock it when it was time to put lunches together, because she had a thing with Doritos. So she stopped herself from doing it. Obviously, she needs to put that in her kid's lunch. I don't know why, but you put it in kids' lunch because we create obese children. But she stopped herself from having it. I also have another client who has to have a piece of Dove chocolate every single night. So she puts it in the app every morning, and she gets to have it every night. All right, keep moving. Grab and go options. If you watch the food in my fridge, you'll see all the grab and go options. It's also on the list that I just showed you in the cheat sheet group. Fruit has a lot of carbs. Keep an eye on it. Pineapple, anything melony has a lot of carbs because of the sugar. I don't care if it's good sugar. It's still carbs. Carbs is sugar. Sugar is carbs. We count every carb. I don't care if it's, what is the fiber takes away from the carbs, which makes it better. That's bullshit. It's 1 for 1, no matter what. Drink half your body weight in ounces. We've already talked about this. It could be carbonated water, as long as it doesn't bloat you. It could be Crystal Light in your water. You could put lemon, those lemon pouches, True Lime things, those are all good. Do not weigh yourself every day. I talked about this the other day. You will drive me crazy. You will drive yourself insane. Our body weight fluctuates every 24 to 48 hours, could be anywhere from 2 to 3 pounds. We weigh ourselves every Monday. If you need to weigh yourself on Friday for accountability, I give you that option. It'll actually be in your calendar come Monday morning. It'll give you the option, not a to-do. Your weigh-ins and your regular stuff will be in your to-do list. Try to prep your meals a day or a week in advance. So I don't cook, but I do prep my hard-boiled eggs. I do separate my protein into baggies. I do separate my Cheerios. Yes, I count my Cheerios. I count my nuts. Mike asked me one time, he's like, can you bring me some cashews? And I was like, sure. So I took out our little monkey dish and I counted out 20 cashews for him. And I brought it over. He's like, what the hell is this? I'm like, one serving. One serving for a normal person is let me grab the bag and just keep eating it, right? If you start by putting everything in portions, not meal prepping, but just putting it in the portions, you'll be way ahead of yourself. So when you grab it and go, you already know it's done. So on Sunday mornings, I go food shopping after I teach classes and I train my private clients. I hard boil my eggs. I separate out my nuts. I separate out my deli meat if Publix doesn't do for me already. I get everything ready. I separate out my strawberries, my blueberries. Everything's good to go. So when I leave at 3:30 in the morning, which I do almost every morning, I just put it all in my bag and I know it's good to go. I don't have to think about it. And it works so much easier that way. Remember, avocado, salmon, and sea bass are very fatty foods. They might be good for you. They might have your omegas and all that great stuff. So I'm not saying you can't have anything, but if you're going to eat it, you have to pre-log it because they're going to take up all your fats. And if you know you're having sea bass for dinner or salmon for dinner or avocado at lunch or breakfast, you better log that shit before you eat it because you might not have anything left for the rest of the day. Everybody got those tips? So far, so good, right? You're all with me. Nobody has to write these down because they're already in your app. They're under your shortcuts. Unless you're counting my ad lib stuff. Okay, moving on. Alcohol. Sorry for those that don't drink, but you still got to talk about it. Alcohol counts as macros. Do not listen to the BS on TV that says Bud Light protein, there's no carbs. Mick Ultra, the best alcohol to have. Alcohol is alcohol. Everybody hear me? If you're drinking wine, if you're drinking Tito's, if you're drinking a Mick Ultra, Ultra Light, you count it the same way. You take the calories, you divide it by 4 if you want to use your carbs, and by 9 if you want to use your fats. So if your alcohol is 70 calories, let me use an even number. If your alcohol is 40 calories, there's no alcohol that's 40, and you want to use your fats, you're going to log Lori's, whatever she calls it, 10 grams of carbs. So in my app, even though I'm not drinking now, I have Shannon's Tito's, Shannon's wine, Shannon's double wine. And my double wine is when I have 2 glasses. And I have some that are listed as carbs, some are fats, and some are broken as both. So depending on how my day goes, if I don't have any fats left, I'll use my carbs for alcohol. There's no protein, 0 in alcohol. And if it tells you it's Truly's or Blue Moon, not Blue Moon, what is it? What is the moon drink? High Noon, not moon, High Noon. They say 100 calories, no carbs, no fats. Bullshit. It's 100 divided by 4. It's 100 divided by 9. It's either carbs or fats. Everybody with me on that? You all get the alcohol, right? You have to create a meal in MyFitnessPal or in-app tracking or Fitbit for your alcohol. If you scan it, it will not be correct. So if you have premium, it won't matter. If you don't have premium, it won't matter because you can still create it. If you have trouble with it, let me know. I will walk you through it. I have no problem with that. Why do these meetings always go so fast? Okay. I talked about the Crystal Light. I talked about the alcohol. Okay, so I'm going to talk about tips to getting in your proteins. When you are eating a carb, you have to eat a protein. So you can't eat a carb without a protein. That takes a lot of thought, right? Like, what would be a protein? What would be a carb? Your cheat sheets are going to come in really handy right there. Sometimes I might eat breakfast for dinner to get my eggs in, to get something that I know. I'll cut up chicken and put it in my eggs. That's extra protein. You can take a protein scoop of powder and put it in your oatmeal. It's amazing. Raise your hand if you're in the Shred Tribe and you do that now. Yes, it works. It tastes so good. And then you can have a protein shake and it won't matter because you put it in your food. You're actually eating it. You can put it in your cottage cheese. Believe it or not, it's not that bad. and make it sound like it's better than it is, but it's not that bad. I put it in my oatmeal. I don't put it in my cottage cheese, but I heard it could be good. People mix tuna. Now I've done this. It's good. Cottage cheese with tuna instead of mayo with a little bit of pickle. It's really, really good. Believe it or not. Try it. You might like it. You never know. And it's all about getting outside the box, right? If I have a HelloFresh, if I have a healthy choice meal like I did today, I will also make a turkey burger with it. Cut it up and just mix it all together. There's not enough protein. 20 grams of protein is not enough protein in a meal. And those meals don't have very much protein in them. When I eat dinner, I always have either 2 pieces of chicken breast or 1.5, no matter what. 1 chicken breast is not enough. 1 turkey burger is not enough. Everybody with me? Drinking a smoothie for breakfast, if you have to, is okay, but you need to eat. Chewing is what makes you full. You might feel bloated after you have a drink, like a protein shake, but that's not a full feeling. That's just I'm bloated. You're going to be hungry not too long after that. I'm grabbing my notes. Hold on. Okay. Keeping in your house Quest chips will be super important, because if you tell me that you're short 15 to 20 carbs, I'm going to say, or 15 to 20 fats, I'm going to say, why don't you have some Quest chips? They're really good. The tortilla ones are better than the chips, the potato chip ones. For people that don't like processed foods, I always mention processed foods, so be prepared for that, because it's the easiest way to get in your macros and eat healthy at the same time. But you can still get in your food without eating processed foods. Oh, look, she's showing us her Quest chips. Thank you, Danae. We're going to do show and tell. She's on the ball for that, though. Double your proteins at your meals that you haven't been doing, and you will hit your proteins. Have a snack. So make some hard-boiled eggs. If you don't eat eggs for breakfast, eat them for your snack during the day. Okay, so I'm going to read a couple of things for you. Let me find my notes that I wrote down. Oh, I did want to talk about this. So meal automation or meal prep companies are great. So like HelloFresh, Ideal Nutrition, Flex Pro, Trifecta, those are all fine for you to eat if you don't cook. I do Ideal Nutrition, then I get bored with it. But they have really good shredded chicken. And if you live in South Florida, they have locations all over, and you can go in and buy food. You don't have to order them online. It'll help with the decision-making burnout too, of not knowing what to eat. HelloFresh, if you order from there, or Green Fresh or Green Chef, just be mindful of what their macros are. They give them to you. If you can't find it, just Google it, because you can find every one of their meals. A lot of times when we do our HelloFresh, I just won't eat all the carbs that it comes with. So if it says that a full portion is, 50 carbs, I'll just eat half of it. So I get 25 carbs. It'll still fill you up. Most important thing is focusing on your protein. So the way to do that is, if I give you 150 grams, divide it by how many meals you told me you wanted to eat, and you should be eating that at each meal. So if you messaged me in your consultation form, you said you eat 3 meals a day, it doesn't have to be in writing, you can do 5. But if you told me 3 and that's what I put in your report, then take the 150 divided by 3, and you should be eating 75 grams of protein at each meal. You can knock it down to 60 and add some snacks. Whatever your numbers are, just divide it by the amount of meals you have, and know that that's what you have to try to stick to. I just reminded myself of something. Somebody asked me, they said they didn't see their report. So when you're in your app, everybody pull up your app. If you see the fork and knife icon, click on it. There's a PDF file. And it'll say Emily's Shred into Spring 2023. The one I'm looking at is Always Be Badass in 2023, but it looks like this. Then when you click on it and hit view, it looks like this. And it will have your name on it, my name on it, and it's 17 pages. And it will tell you how to get your macros in as well. It'll also tell you what macros are. It'll give you meal ideas. And it's customized for each and every one of you. Nobody's report is the same. Make sure it has your name on the front of it. Sometimes I'm doing so many of them and it takes me a long time. Someone will be like, I have Emily's report. And I'm like, oh shoot, let me send you yours. And then if you see like 66 as your height, that's not 6'6". It goes in inches. So you don't have to message me and tell me I put the wrong height in. Okay, so moving right along. And some of this I might have to save for our meeting because I'm going to get cut up. But first thing you want to do is if dinner is your favorite meal, you're going to plug that in and plan the rest of your day around it. Whatever your favorite meal is, whatever your biggest meal is, plug it in and work around it. Find your go-to meals at the closest places if you're one of those people that have to eat out or you're at work and you're always running out for food. What are the go-to places near you? I always go to Bolé and I always go to Just Salad. I know exactly what the macros are when I get at each place. I haven't been to Bolé in a very long time because Just Salad opened right next door. And I can get a salad or I can get a warm bowl. And do you guys know where Just Salad is? There's one in Gardens, one in West Palm. That you can get cauliflower and broccoli, warm rice, and you can get roasted sweet potatoes and roasted chicken on it. It is so good. I actually get that. I pick it up every Thursday night when I leave Orange Theory and I take it home for dinner and I get Mike whatever he wants. But find something that you know is near you and figure out what the macros are to make it easier for you. Chick-fil-A. Pollo Tropical is great. You can get the balsamic tomatoes. You can get their grilled chicken. When you order a grilled chicken platter, they give you 2 chicken breasts. That's what you need, 2 chicken breasts, right? And you can ask for brown rice. You can ask for white rice and beans. Depends on what you have in your day. I got to talk fast. I have 2 minutes. Don't graze. Unless you're like me, that you can't eat your meal at one sitting, you need to get up and come back down, but don't graze, sit down, eat your meal. Because if you pick throughout the day or you pick while you're cooking for other people, your macros add up and those count. Trying a tater tot counts if you're cooking for your kids. Have one meal every day that you can try to manipulate. So like I eat usually during lunch, if I'm not home, I usually make a deli sandwich. Like I'll use 6 to 8 ounces of deli meat. I'll bring 2 pieces of Nature's Own live bread. I think it's called live bread. It's like 17 carbs. And if by the time I eat lunch, I can only eat 1 piece of the bread, I'll only eat 1. But I know that's something I can play with. So you want to try and find one meal. I already talked about evenly distributing your macros. Buy smaller sizes of food. You know, they make bags of 100-calorie pretzels, 100-calorie popcorn. Those are great. They're already portioned out for you. And you just scan them and you're good to go. Plan one day that fits your macros and then try to match it, copy it every day. That's the #1 thing that's going to help you is copy and paste. I just thought of something when I was saying smaller portion sizes. Now I can't remember what I was going to say. Evenly distributed. I'll have to remember it. Okay. You guys are all going to practice Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 o'clock. I'm going to say, are you ready for me to look at your macros? And you're going to say yes or no, and we're going to work together on this. Saturday, we have a meeting. It's going to be questions and answers. It's going to be more information. I'm going to get cut off. Remember, always be badass. Cannot wait to see you guys on Saturday. Thank you so much for coming on. This will be recorded so you can watch it over and over again.